Good afternoon. This is Clark Neighbors of BIS Commodities with the weekly commentary in October 2016. For the week, corn fairly quiet, down a penny. Beans had a very nice solid week. This week up nearly 22 cents. At the same time, wheat was down 6 cents. Bean market seemed to find some support on the continuation of strong export talk, export demand. Off to a very good start. We're up about 28% from a year ago. Quietly, corn exports are up a lot over a year ago, so that bears watching over the next few months. We're off to a very good start with exports, which the theme of this year in the market is record crops versus very big demand, and right now we're having a tug of war between those two products or two variances, and that's creating a market, at least so far, that seems to be somewhat range bound. Get too oversold, you find some buying. Get too much buying, you tend to find some hedge pressure and so on. Speaking of hedge pressure, harvest weekend coming up. Weather looks good through about next Tuesday or Wednesday. In many areas of the Midwest, we should be winding down with soybean harvest during that time frame. Monday's harvested acreage report. Most of the trade are looking for beans to be somewhere 70-75% complete nationwide. Corn around 60%, so harvest is finally the on again, off again saga to some degree this fall. Should be making some very good progress. What that is creating, though, is some issues, especially in the Western Corn Belt. Interestingly enough, in the Eastern Corn Belt, in Decatur, St. Louis, some of the other processor markets, we're already seeing corn basis starting to do its post-harvest firming. We're at or near 5-year average basis levels in the East in many areas. At the same point in the Western Corn Belt, corn basis right now is running 25 to maybe as much as 50 cents below the 5-year average. So farmers in the Western Corn Belt may want to be looking at some basis opportunities going forward. I'll touch on that in a second. But I think the focus also needs to be on soybeans. Surprisingly enough, even with this huge export program we've got going on at soybeans right now, many areas with basis of beans are running 20, 25, 30 cents below the 5-year average. We have a huge pipeline right now for beans, but we're trying to jam a lot of beans through that pipeline right now. That is creating some logistical issues in some parts of the Midwest, and there's a huge cash carry from now through December. So producers that have bean ownership and need some help on how to market that or how to take advantage of maybe some potential basis opportunities down the road, feel free to call us here at the office. Your focus right now should not be on what the price of beans are going to do in the next 2 days or in the next week or in the next 2 weeks, but how to obtain that basis opportunity if it exists. So we'll be happy here in the office to talk with you on that. Commitment to Traders report came out this afternoon. A couple of reports, commitment to traders and also the cattle on feed. Just quickly, commitment to traders. The funds are still short roughly 70,000 contracts of corn, but they increased that length 66,000 contracts, so that short was almost diminished in half. Soybeans, funds that are long about 87,000 contracts, added about 14,000 contracts to those longs. Funds are still very short wheat, over 100,000 contracts, so that wheat market continues to be a haven of short positions by the funds. Now, interestingly enough, a year ago, corn positions by the funds were actually long at this time. They were on the way to being short as we went towards the holidays. Beans, they were even basically, and went to short positions by the end of 2015, so that's something to keep in mind. The other thing of interest this afternoon, the tremendous volatility this cattle market has seen the last several months, volatility and also very negative type markets. We did get a cattle on feed report this afternoon, and on feed was 100%, trade was looking for 101, placements at 98. That's a record low placement for the month of September. Trade was looking for 104, so numbers are down quite a bit from what the trade was anticipating. That could be positive. The cattle market come Monday. Keep in mind the cattle market's been up nearly $5 the last 2 days, but looking at the recent break in the cattle market, that's just a small correction of the recent run. So we'll see. Keep in mind for the month of September, pork and beef production were at record levels. So there's a lot of protein out in the market right now. So in summary, going forward, harvest progress on the grains going to be interesting to watch. If you're a producer, and again, if you need some help on how to lock in and use some of this potential basis potential coming up, how to take advantage of that, or the opportunity to take advantage of that, please give us a call. The other thing in the market to watch is continued export trade. Will that be a supporting factor in the market? Keep in mind crude oil is at 11-month highs also. That kind of continues to help support this market a little bit in the commodities. So if you have any questions on any of these products or any questions on marketing, feel free to call us at BIS Commodities here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Phone number is 800-373-2525 or biscommodities.com. Have a great weekend.